We said, look, we'll do an elegant experiment. We'll ban overtime. Doesn't sound very elegant at the moment, I admit.
No.
And what we said, look, your pay won't change. So if you've been earning overtime before, we'll pay you that money. So we hid this experiment under the idea that we weren't going to have to count all the hours individuals were doing. So it was going to save administration in payroll.
Which it would, a little bit.
Right, so we did this big ceremony of taking the clocking machine off the wall, so we didn't record their hours. And we said, look, no overtime. I mean, if you have to, work on because you're busy. And you'll get the same money as if you're working overtime. But, do as you think is possible, but we're going to pay you what you've been receiving before. The only thing was we said, we'll call it a bonus, an overtime bonus. We won't count your hours.
They're going to get that extra money forever.
Yeah. Yes.
That money they used to be getting for overtime.
But
they're going to get forever, even though they go home at 5.
But we didn't make it part of their salary. We just said, but it's a bonus.
Okay.
And they were very sceptical about it. But we eventually agreed that we'd do it for 6 months. The first month came and went, and nothing changed. Second month, one person said, do you know, I can get my work done during the day, so I can leave on time. I can go off and do my hobby, which was consuming him in the evenings.
So when you say nothing changed, do you mean they're still working beyond the finishing time to finish their work?
Coming in early, going home late, working on Saturdays.
It's almost like we'll show them.
Well, why would they do that when they're not getting paid anymore?
Because it's changed.
But
they didn't want to change.
That's how long the work took.
That's it.
So you have a certain amount of work you allocate to people, a known amount of work.
Yeah, like we always did.
But doesn't it vary from month to month?
No.
The amount of work you give people?
No, because they're just different projects. We had a backlog, so we stacked the factory out as much as we possibly could there.
Okay, so you have a known, you say this is an 8-hour job I'm giving you, or this is 4 2-hour jobs I'm going to give you. So you have some time estimate on the work.
Yeah, everything.
And you didn't change any of that?
No.
Okay.
And we'd said, in fact, we emphasised nothing was to change. The management wasn't to change, the supervision wasn't to change, people's activities weren't to change, nothing was supposed to change. It was only supposed to save admin in payroll.
Just the pay,
We didn't have to add up all the hours.
Okay. So one person said, I reckon I can work quicker and do that in the time and knock off at 5.
Yeah. So what happened was, at the end of that month, everybody had to look over his shoulder, see whether he got paid or not. Because he used to do overtime.
And he still got his overtime?
Yeah.
Because he'd done the work?
So by month 5, there was no overtime being done.
Everybody was going at 5.
Yeah.
But they were still doing the work.
Yeah.
They'd found ways
Yeah.
to be more efficient and get the work done in a shorter time.
Yeah.
Now, you would imagine...
And quality was still okay. You were monitoring.
Inspection, everything.
So the thing was then to say, well, what had changed? Because, of course, that's what management said.
They weren't skiving anymore.
Yeah. No, but you couldn't put your finger on it. It wasn't possible for you to analyse this all down to work out what had changed.
Because they were busy before.
They were busy before.
They seemed to be.
And they're busy now. All you know is you've got a different outcome here. Productivity increased because less hours worked. So by that time, productivity had improved by 20%, which was equivalent to the overtime hours.
Yeah.
Same amount out.
We used to struggle to get
less
5%.
We couldn't get 5%.
So you were paying the same amount of money for the same amount of work.
Yeah.
You hadn't gained.
No.
But productivity had improved by 20%.
Yeah.
Which was really interesting.
But we'd been clear, nothing was to change.
We had gained.
Because, what have you gained?
Well, because before we had to have some supervisory staff in to for the overtime.
Oh, okay.
So they'd be leaving work at, say, 7. Yeah, somebody would have the key, and there was always a temptation for you in the management's position to be overseeing it, not to leave until.
And you don't have to record all the
fantastic, blah blah. So, but this is the interesting thing for me is that we could not analyse what the things were that had changed to get this change in outcome.
Yeah.
That's the most interesting thing. There wasn't an analysis you could do to find out.
Just like your guy now, who's gone from 200 to 250.
You tell me.
And you just don't know how he's doing it.
That's right.
He's just found ways.
It's almost like an emergent thing. It's not a thing. It's an emergent.
For example, we'd have less machine breakdowns because people were doing proactive maintenance.
Right.
But it was a little thing.
Yeah.
But a machine breakdown causes chaos.
Yeah.
But if you didn't have to string the day out, you made sure you changed a bearing or something when the machine wasn't being used. Not in the most important moment when you needed it.
Yeah.
And there was just
millions of things.
Yeah.
Just there's too many.
And the great thing is, you didn't have to tell them to do all those things. They were doing it because they wanted to finish at 5.
But it was different to that. We told them not to change anything. I'm trying to give you this sense that this isn't a management problem.
Yeah.
So you said put more supervision in.
But they've got ownership of it now, haven't they? Because they want to go home at 5.
Yes.
So they are thinking about, I don't want to push the machine too far. I don't want to break the machine. I need to change that bearing in advance. So they're doing all that because they want to.
Yeah.
Because they care. Because they want to finish at 5.
Yeah.
Whereas before, you were trying to make them do hundreds of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were maybe doing half of them reluctantly or whatever. Yeah. So suddenly, it just becomes incredibly easy. You almost don't have to manage them.
Well, all we had to worry about was inspection to make sure quality hadn't shifted.
Yes. So you've changed the environment, and that has changed their behaviour.
We've changed the rule set.
And just one rule. 20% improvement. We've been battling for 5% with all these projects with consultants, and we got 20% in 6 months, and we told them not to change. So clearly something else is going on, thing that I didn't know was going on before.
So what did you change next?